WDTM, the station that's on your side. This is 2 News at 6.
Right now in the line of danger, our videographer is among those forced to run for their lives when a smokestack tumbles in the wrong direction.
But first tonight at 6, a Montgomery County Sheriff's deputy is fired after he's accused of lying about his relationship with a confidential informant. Good evening. Once again, I'm Mark Allen.
And I'm Marcia Baumhart. Megan O'Rourke has been speaking with the sheriff. She breaks down the allegations that cost a 15-year veteran his job.
Marcia, Mark, as of October 27th, Stephen Gardner is no longer an employee here at the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. Now, there were multiple reasons behind his firing, but he says the most significant was that he lied to investigators. 37-year-old Stephen Gardner's personnel file with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is hundreds of pages long. The most recent addition, order of termination. Gardner was fired on October 27th for various policy violations, including violation of rules, abuse of his position, ethical misconduct, and insubordination. Sheriff Phil Plummer says Gardner came under investigation after he was romantically linked to a paid confidential informant.
During the internal investigation, Detective Gardner was not completely truthful to us, to my investigators, and I have a policy of truthfulness. You know, they all know that if you lie in any proceeding, internal proceeding, you're immediately terminated.
Gardner's internal investigation report reveals that on August 24th, the confidential informant was pulled over, and at that time, she told the deputy she had been dating Gardner for the last year and a half. She also told investigators the relationship quickly became sexual, and she said she spent several nights alone with Gardner in hotels around the Miami Valley, Columbus, and Indiana. The report also states Gardner, who is married, invited the informant on a Hawaiian vacation. Sheriff Plummer calls the relationship unethical and a danger to his department.
You know, you can't let a paid informant, who's typically a criminal, inside the inner workings of the organization. You know, now she picks up bits of information. You know, the relationship is built upon trust, so the officer could trust her and tell her things that she shouldn't know, which creates an officer safety issue to my officers.
Plummer says Gardner used his work-issued car and other equipment during his dates, which he calls borderline criminal activity. But at this time, no charges have been filed. Now, officials tell me Gardner, who has spent the last several years working undercover, has already filed a grievance with the state to try and get his job back. Reporting live downtown, Megan O'Rourke, 2 News on your side.
Also tonight at 6, Trotwood police are looking for 2 home invaders who opened fire just feet away from an infant. Police say the intruders shot one person who did not follow their orders quickly enough. Anthony Kiko working this story tonight from Trotwood for us. Anthony?
Trotwood police officers tell me 2 men wearing masks and carrying semi-automatic weapons burst into the Westbrook Village apartments on the 5200 block of Autumn Drive. Now, police say that they went into the apartment and got the call. Actually, they got the call about the home invasion around 2:45. 3 adults and 1 infant were inside of the apartment. The men demanded money, and after taking what police are calling a few personal items, one of them shot a 21-year-old man in the leg. Then they ran out of the apartment.
We believe they left the apartment and went into a black Cadillac with 2 other awaiting black males.
Now, police tell me the victim was taken to Miami Valley Hospital, and they don't believe his injuries are life-threatening. Now, I'm also told that they found a shell casing on the scene. Reporting live, Anthony Kiko, 2 News on your side.
New at 6 o'clock, Dayton police released video of a serial burglar in action. Officials say this man is responsible for breaking into the Dragon restaurant on Gettysburg Avenue in Dayton at least twice. He is also a suspect in several other burglaries. Detectives say he goes straight for the cash register and may be stealing to feed a drug habit. Authorities are looking for any information about him, so give them a call if you know anything.
And only on 2, the city of Dayton considers drastic balance its struggling budget. Income tax collections are now at their lowest point since 1993, and city officials say that means some tough decisions must be made. 89 positions will be cut, including firefighters and 28 full-time employees. Snow-covered streets will be plowed less often. Residents will have to pay higher fees for trash collection, parking tickets, and ambulance services, and city pools may be closed.
It's tough, and we're trying to minimize the impact, but you can't cover it up. We're going to have an impact.
And city officials tell us things could get even worse if the state makes major cuts to balance its budget.
New at 6, a business owner fights to keep his dream alive. Jeffrey Gagne opened a B&B 8 years ago and now wants to open a wine shop on Brown Street. He claims the Oregon District Historical Society has blocked the plan since some businesses already have liquor licenses, and that is the maximum that will be allowed. Gagne says that guideline has been broken in the past, and he has the support to prove it.
So we started a petition on Halloween. And got 172 of our residents, business owners, and property owners to sign this petition.
Jeffrey Gagne says he has taken this fight to the court, which will ultimately decide.
Well, dozens are forced to run for their lives when a 275-foot smokestack comes falling down. This happened during a planned demolition today in Springfield. Sonu Wasu live with a very close call and some pretty amazing video for us. Sonu?
Well, Mark, before we show you the video, I will say it is amazing no one got hurt. Dozens of news crews out there to cover the implosion became a part of this story today.
10, 9, 8.
News crews lined up to get a good shot of the 205-foot-long smokestack coming down.
The tower was supposed to fall to the northeast.
7, 6, 5.
Excitement building up to watch a stack that's been here since 1927 fall. All power plant cleanup project.
3, 2, 1, fire in the hole!
As the tower tumbled, a small power station in the way crumbled. The massive weight also yanked several 12,000 power lines down towards spectators gathered in the safety zone. They ditched tripods, dropped folders and helmets to run. Newspaper reporter Samantha Summer was one of them.
It was a pretty frightening moment there. We hear panic and people screaming and yelling to get out of the way and to move quickly because we didn't have much time.
And that was not all. More explosions followed. 4,000 people lost power. A spokesman for First Energy says they're now working with the demolition contractor to figure out why things did not go as planned.
They've taken other towers twice the size of this one down without anything going on. Again, it's an exact science, and obviously we don't know what went wrong today.
And authorities tell us that all of the charges did fire as they were supposed to. They believe there might have been some cracks on that smokestack, but all of that is still under investigation at this time. Reporting live, Sonu Wasu, 2 News on your side.
All right, Sonu, thank you. On to weather now. The warm spell continues and not one complaint being heard.
Not at all. Chief Meteorologist Brian Davis, forecast.
Yeah, we've just had some fantastic weather this week. It's going to continue right on through Thursday and Friday, and then finally some changes toward the weekend. Tonight, zoomed in on the Montgomery County area, Dayton, Kettering, Centerville, Germantown, New Lebanon, up to Trotwood and Brookville, West Alexandria and Granite out there in Preble County. Dry weather tonight, and it's going to stay dry. It looks like our next chance of rain probably not coming back into the picture until we get to Saturday. Those highs today, upper 60s for us, but look at that, upper 70s west of us towards St. Louis. I think we'll see some of those 70-degree highs pulled into our area on Friday, just ahead of the front. But even tomorrow, it looks like we'll be back up near that 70-degree mark. 44 degrees tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, 63 at lunchtime. Should get up near 70 during the afternoon around 3, 4 o'clock, and then by 5 o'clock dropping back to 65 with plenty of sunshine. I'll have your complete forecast with that cooling trend in it down the road. That's coming up later.
And still ahead here at 6, veterans dress in their best, hoping to impress employers.
And dozens face off outside the office of a powerful politician, hoping to make a difference.
Well, local leaders say their development plans have been railroaded. I'm Dan Edwards with their strategy to get those plans back on track. Just ahead on 2 News.
New at 6, a local community refuses to give up its fight even after plans to build the proposed 3C railroad are scrapped. Dan Edwards with how Riverside plans to get back on track.
Talking about not the right.
Riverside Economic Development Director Bob Murray says it is back to the drawing board for the city's revitalization plans. So now what happens?
Well, we
He's concerned about the commercial development called the Center of Flight, envisioned as the new gateway to the Air Force Museum that have the potential to generate some $100 million for the struggling city. But now,
well, we'll revive some old plans and come up with some new ideas. What we're not giving up on is that someday this will be a railroad station.
Well, what's doomed the project is this week Governor-elect Kasich said he'll put the brakes on $400 million in funding for the state's 3C railway, linking Dayton with Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland, the 12th busiest transportation corridor in the country.
I think the average Ohioan can tell the difference between a short-term debt and a long-term investment.
Says that at the very least, the $15 million already allocated to study the viability of Ohio's rail system should continue.
It seems extremely premature to stop those studies and to give that back that having the studies done.
What happens with the $400 million now that if it's taken off the table?
It will go to another state.
Murray says what those studies will reveal is long-term rail service actually pays for itself while giving transportation options to an aging population.
Currently, we subsidize the highway system to the tune of $10 a year for every man, woman, and child in Ohio. Rail, on the other hand, to subsidize the passenger rail system that we have planned now, it's $1.50.
Never say never. You know, I got to fight. And
community activist Mahaka heads a group working to put the rail issue to a statewide vote.
Let's make an educated decision for what's in the best interest of the future of Ohio together.
In Riverside, Dan Edwards, 2 News on your side.
And if you would like to get involved, go to 3cisme.ohio.gov.
In the meantime, Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood has told Governor-elect John Kasich, that is Ohio Governor-elect John Kasich, build the railroad or give the money back. Kasich asked for permission to reallocate the $400 million given to Ohio to build the 3C rail line. That request was denied, but Kasich's camp says it's not giving up and plans to find other ways to legally use those federal funds.
Angry voters demand a newly re-elected politician keep his campaign promises.
Plus, after serving their country, many local residents hope for a brand new start and brand new jobs.
And in sports, it's a day for the defense. Jack will tell us have golden gloves.
We are really enjoying these mild days, and our viewers are proving it. W.D. Campbell sent us this fiery shot from Middleton Corner. Send us your photos and video. Upload them now at WDTN.com. Just look for the Participate page. Follow the instructions, and I'll have more of your unseasonably warm forecast ahead.
Welcome back. New at 6 o'clock, tensions escalate at a protest outside Representative John Boehner's district office in Troy. Dozens stood outside Congressman Boehner's office today on behalf of the group Working America. They say they want the man who most believe will be the next Speaker of the House to work harder to create jobs.
When working families stand together and raise our voices, it's effective. Representative Boehner has just become one of the most powerful men in the world in an election where people are demanding jobs, and he needs to deliver on that.
Working America is associated with the AFL-CIO.
Well, veterans head to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base today looking for jobs. The base hosted a special job fair today, especially for our men and women who have served in the armed forces. Employers say many members of the military adjust well to civilian life, especially if given the right opportunities to succeed outside of combat situations.
Oftentimes we get accused of being harsh and direct. We don't really mean to be. We're simply used to an environment where the job simply has to get done, no questions asked, no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
In addition to veterans, employers also interviewed military spouses and family members.
New at 6 o'clock, 2 trucking companies rev up to do business in Montgomery County. Today, Clark Power Services Incorporated and O&S Trucking hosted a ribbon-cutting ceremony. This is in celebration of their new joint venture. Both plan to share the same building near the 70-75 interchange, which will serve as the Miami Valley hub for both companies. More than 100 trucks are expected to drive in and out of that plant.
Now, Chief Meteorologist Brian Davis and live Doppler 2X, the most powerful radar in the Miami Valley.
Another clean sweep tonight on that live Doppler 2X radar scope. Huber Heights and Dayton, Trotwood, Drexel, Englewood, and up towards Tip City, West Milton, New Carlisle, and Springfield, Beaver Creek, and Xenia. All those areas tonight dry. The only showers we're really tracking way to the west of us. You have to go out in the northern plain states up towards Minnesota and up into parts of South Dakota. A little bit of snow there showing up, and there are some showers too in the eastern part of Wisconsin, northeast Illinois, but some snow out in the Rockies. That system out west will eventually head our way. Temperatures dropping through the 50s this evening into the upper 40s at 11 o'clock, and then tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, 44. Should be into the mid-60s for your evening commute tomorrow, after getting into the upper 60s to near 70 tomorrow afternoon. Your current conditions already dropping off into the upper 50s with an east wind at 5, 39% the barometric pressure, and our high today 68, 37 that low this morning, and we were only 3 degrees away from that record high, 18 the record low in 1991, and already down to the mid-40s around Toledo, 55 at Pittsburgh, 51 in Mansfield, Cleveland in the 40s as well, but you can see the 60s west of us still hanging tough there, upper 50s and low 60s across much of southwest Ohio. Look at those readings in the 70s today out in the Plain States. I'm expecting some of that warmer air to head in our direction as we get towards Friday. I think we'll be up into the low 70s. Back west, 41 at Rapid City, cooling off rapidly as you go out into the northern plains and the northern Rockies. There's that little ribbon of moisture swinging north and northeast up across Minnesota, but things pretty quiet with high pressure and control of our weather. Only thing we're seeing now, a little patchy high cloudiness moving through, and by the time we get to midnight and beyond, I think most of those high clouds will be to the east of us. So once again, with that area of high pressure hanging around, dry weather tonight, tomorrow, another nice day, just a continuation of this very stable weather pattern we've had for the past 3 days. It's going to stay that way right on through Friday, but eventually we will see that front to the west of us get a little bit closer, and as it nears us towards Saturday and another low pressure system spins out of the southern plain states, that's when we'll have a little better chance of seeing some shower activity move in. But until then, a dry weather pattern continues, mostly clear skies tonight. We'll drop off to 40. Those high thin clouds around this evening will eventually give way to those clear skies once again, setting the stage for another beautiful day on Veterans Day. Lots of sunshine, pleasant temperatures, light southeast winds. That afternoon high up around 70 degrees. Tomorrow morning, already warming up to 44 at 8 o'clock, 57 at 10 a.m., 63 at lunchtime. Kids coming home from school at 2 o'clock, 68, and then 65 at 5 p.m. with sunshine, and then 57 as we head into the evening there with those clear skies. Your 7-day planner on Friday, a high of 72 degrees, so that could set a record. The record high for Friday is 71, and then on Saturday we start that cooling trend. We'll see a chance on Saturday, a high of 63 degrees, and then dropping back into the low 50s on Sunday with a mix of clouds and some sunshine. Then rain chances start to go up. We need some water. It looks like a little better chance of that into early next week, along with those cooler temperatures, more like November.
All right. Thank you for the warning. Great.
We didn't really see it in the 3 playoff games, but for most of the season, the Reds played very good
during the regular season. That's what these awards are based on. Remember that. The Reds won the National League Central Division thanks in large part to their defense. The Cincinnati Defenders set a team record with a .988 fielding percentage. This afternoon, 3 Reds were honored with Gold Gloves. Second baseman Brandon Phillips picked up his 2nd career Gold Glove, while third baseman Scott Rowland won his 8th. Now, for Rowland, that's 3rd most among all players at his position. Starting pitcher Bronson Arroyo earned his first ever Gold Glove award. This season hasn't even started yet, but hey, they're already taking care of business for next year. Today, the UD men's basketball team officially signed 2 top recruits out of the state of Michigan. 6'8" forward Percy Gibson averaged over 17 points and 11 rebounds last year for Detroit powerhouse Southeastern High School. Another forward, LaDonte Henton, averaged almost 25 points and 14.5 rebounds for Eastern High his junior year in high school.
They add a lot to the program immediately. I think not only the type of players they are with their versatility, great size, great strength, really play the game at the energy level and effort level that has suited us so well, but tremendous people as well.
Now in the more immediate future, the Flyers will open up the regular season coming up Saturday afternoon against Mount St. Mary's at UD Arena. Head coach Brian Gregory says his team is ready to start the season, but of course, there is always room for improvement.
Well, I like the progress that we made between Game 1 and Game 2 in terms of our defensive effort and our rebounding, and it's still not where it needs to get to. So we need to keep focusing on concentrating on that. And at the same time, tighten some things up on the offensive end. Do a better job of pushing the ball and getting that ball in the open court where we are very good.
Well, elsewhere on the Dayton campus, the Flyers football team will play its final game of the season coming up this Saturday at Marist. A win will send the senior class out as Pioneer Football League champions.
I know our seniors, they want to go out as PFL champions, and the whole team really does. It's because they've worked so hard this year. Tough games all the way through, even the one loss, 22nd loss there against Duquesne. It's been a road that's been hard and heavy, but our guys are looking forward to it Saturday against Marist to finally have a culmination here.
Well, meanwhile, up in Columbus, the Buckeyes will be home on Saturday to face Joe Paterno and Penn State. The Nittany Lions are coming off an emotional come-from-behind win last weekend over Northwestern to give Joe Pa his 400th career victory. Penn State could be set up for an emotional letdown, but Ohio State head coach Jim Tressel doesn't see it that way.
Well, the thing that's made Penn State so good over the years is they're so steady. They're never going to be too high, and they're never going to be too low. When it's 21-9, to fold the tent, that's just not how they're made. And when they end the game 5-21, they're not going to say, hey, we've arrived and we're now the new kings of college football. They're going to go to work and they're going to get ready for Ohio State.
Well, a couple of Miami Valley teams will play for state soccer championships coming up this Friday at Columbus Crew Stadium. At 3:30, it's Division II Carroll taking on Richfield Revere. Then at 7, it's Centerville against Cleveland St. Ignatius. That for the Division I title. Best of luck to both of those teams.
Yeah, hope we go 2 for 2.
I hope so.
Thank you, Jack.
Another look at your forecast when we come back.
Tonight at 11 here on 2 News, how some homeowners are being tricked into buying modular homes.
Checking in with Brian.
Yeah, those temperatures coming down quickly this evening, so we'll drop through the 50s and once again into the 40s by the time we get to 11 o'clock with just some light southeast winds out there. So another one of those cool evenings after a very pleasant day.
All right. Thanks for being here. Turning to 2 News, we'll see you at 10 on Dayton CW, and then we're right back at 11 o'clock after Law and Order Los Angeles.
Nightly news with Brian Williams next, and of course the website is always there when you need us. It's WBTN.com. We'll see you later tonight.
Good night.